What if I told you that your entire sense of self, your consciousness, might just be an accident? That everything you think, feel, and experience isn't really necessary for survival? And maybe, just maybe, we were never meant to be self-aware at all. In this video, we're going to explore a mind-blowing idea. What if consciousness is nothing more than a glitch? A byproduct of evolution that we don't actually need? Buckle up, because this might change the way you see yourself forever. Part 1. What is consciousness? All right, first things first. What is consciousness? Scientists and philosophers have been debating this for centuries. Is it just brain activity or something more? Most researchers agree that consciousness is our ability to experience the world subjectively. It's that inner voice in your head. It's what makes you you. But here's the twist. Not all living beings need consciousness to survive. Many creatures thrive without anything close to human-like awareness. So if they can survive without it, why did we develop it at all? Some neuroscientists argue that consciousness is simply an emergent property of complex neural networks. The global workspace theory proposed by Bernard Baars suggests that consciousness is just a spotlight in our brain, highlighting certain pieces of information for decision-making, while the rest of our brain operates unconsciously. Meanwhile, the integrated information theory, IIT, developed by Giulio Tononi, argues that consciousness arises from the way information is structured and interconnected in the brain. This means even a complex AI or a machine could theoretically become conscious if its network reaches a certain level of complexity. There's also the orchestrated objective reduction theory, ORC-OR, by Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff, which suggests that consciousness emerges from quantum processes occurring within microtubules in brain neurons. This introduces a controversial idea that consciousness might be linked to the very fabric of reality itself. Part 2. The accidental byproduct theory. Here's where things get weird. Some scientists believe consciousness wasn't the goal of evolution. Instead, it was an accidental side effect. Think about fire. Early humans didn't invent fire on purpose. It was a discovery. In the same way, maybe our brain didn't evolve to create consciousness. It just happened as a side effect of complex thinking. In other words, maybe we don't need to be aware of ourselves to survive. Maybe intelligence can exist without consciousness. Imagine a super-intelligent species that operates purely on logic and reflex, without any awareness of its own existence. According to Daniel Dennett's multiple drafts model, our brains don't have a single conscious experience, but instead process multiple streams of information at once, with our awareness acting as a narrative constructed after the fact. This means our sense of self might be nothing more than an illusion. Then there's the attention schema theory by Michael Graziano, which suggests that consciousness is simply the brain's way of modeling its own attention. We believe we have a mind because our brain constructs a simplified model of itself. But this model might not be necessary for intelligence. Part 3. The zombie creatures around us. This might sound crazy, but there are creatures in nature that function just fine without self-awareness. In fact, some of them are smarter than we think. Take the octopus. It's a problem-solving genius, capable of escaping enclosures and using tools. But scientists think it might not be conscious in the way we are. Or ants. These tiny creatures work in perfect harmony, building massive colonies. But no single ant is thinking about the big picture. They're running on instinct, like organic machines. Even human sleepwalkers can perform complex tasks without awareness, raising questions about how much of our behavior actually requires consciousness. Part 4. What if AI becomes conscious first? Let's take it one step further. If consciousness is just an accident, then could AI become conscious without us even realizing it? Right now, AI can write, draw, and even mimic emotions. But is it truly conscious, or just really good at pretending? The philosopher John Searle argued in his famous Chinese room thought experiment that a machine could perfectly simulate understanding without actually understanding. Could that be what's happening inside our brains as well? So what do you think? Is consciousness a gift, a mistake, or just an illusion? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the mysteries of the mind, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications because trust me, we're just getting started.